Good afternoon, everyone. 4 o'clock straight up on the East Coast. It is indeed a Wednesday edition of Middays with Q coming at you. I'm your host, as always, Rich Quinones, for this June 11th, 2025. It's all about working out the kinks in this business, right? It's all about working out the kinks. We are live on our YouTube channel, Facebook, on X, and also, as we like to welcome back on X, our good friends over at 1029 FM The Game. Of course, my guy, mi hermano, Angel Martinez. We'll probably get him to jump on board tomorrow for a couple moments, and it would be great to just touch base with him, as we had a lot of fun leading up to about March, April. Schedules, a lot of conflictions with the schedules and whatnot, and running all over the place, but now back in the saddle. So you'll be able to hear me all over the place. We're powered by our good friends over at Trix 57. We also might be streaming on HSRN radio as well. But as I mentioned, it is a Wednesday. We are trying to get over the hump, and it's good to be back in the saddle with you guys. A lot of NBA today. A lot of NBA today, because I feel as though this Durant story is going to take a little buzz. The Knicks are pretty much being blocked all over God's creation. I mean, you talk about my Knicks, who we thought at the moment, right, we're going to basically be able to get their guy, and they are just constantly getting blocked and blocked and blocked and blocked, and that's not a good thing. Never a good thing when you get blocked, and that's exactly what's happening right now for the Knicks. You got some baseball. By the way, the Phils, they got the win. They lose last night. They bounce back this afternoon, and my guy, Luzardo, actually pitched well. The Phillies got a win today at home, 7-2 against the Cubs. Schwarber went deep again. Yanks and Mets back in action. They also got wins last night. We'll do the Q-Fect, a short show today. Get out of here about 5 and some change, calling a couple of hoops games on the West Coast. But with that, we encourage you guys to get locked in. As always, you can comment on Facebook, comment on X as well, and follow along on my YouTube channel. And you guys are fantastic. We got a lot of NFL to get into as well today. I'll throw out the question of the day regarding the NFL. Which 2024 playoff team misses the postseason in 2025? Because a lot of people believe there are certain teams out there that are going to take steps back. So, logic says in the NFL, you have teams that they have good years, they make the playoffs, they make a little deep run, and then sometimes the offseason, there's a whirlwind, there's trades, guys get released, guys get banged up, and they just can't duplicate that kind of success the following season. So we'll kind of take a look at a couple teams that I've pinpointed and I've eyeballed. But we'll get into the NBA. Game 3 NBA Finals this evening. I already told you, there's zero buzz. Did anyone know that the NBA Finals resumed tonight? There's like zero buzz to this NBA Finals. OKC's laying 5.5 on the road. I think they're going to go and just whitewash Indiana Pacers. I really do. And I'll tell you this, if they lose today, the Pacers, they're going to lose this series in 5 games. So there's just no buzz. There's more buzz with the Stanley Cup Finals. There's more buzz with the Stanley Cup Finals. Why? Because those games have actually been exciting. Aside from Game 3, which Florida just lambasted the Oilers 6-1, which we gave you that play the other night. By the way, 2 out of 3 with the Q-Fecta picks from our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee yesterday. 2 out of 3. So 2-1 with 3 plays. Mets, Yankees, no problem. How about the Sky? They hung around. We were taking 17.5, and they lose 85-66. So close. We would have had a nice little perfect Q-Fecta on a Tuesday, but we'll give you the plays on a Wednesday before we get out of here. But there's no juice to these NBA Finals whatsoever. And we always talk about the star power, right? We talk about the star power. Now, it seems as though everyone believes that SGA is not a star because he hasn't won a championship, which to me, I think is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, this kid over the last several years has only averaged about 32 points a game, 30 points a game. He's 26. He's the face of the franchise. He just won the MVP for OKC. They're going to win a title. Now, in a couple more games, are we more inclined to say he's going to be the face of the NBA and he's a superstar? He is a superstar right now, period. There's really no debate. You're not going to tell me that, guys like Halliburton are superstars, and you're not going to say SGA is. You're not going to tell me that Tatum's a superstar, but you're not going to tell me that SGA isn't. I mean, come on. That's utterly ridiculous. Sometimes the thoughts that you guys, or I should say, the talking heads, right? The talking heads that just for some reason don't want to give credit where credit is due. Kevin Durant, it's interesting. I have a lot of Kevin Durant kind of nonsense, right? And Kevin Durant is the biggest troll. Kevin Durant constantly goes on X. I mean, he's arguing with people talking about, hey, Kevin, you really haven't been significant since you left Golden State, which is fair. Which is fair. So now Kevin Durant and his business partners, they are trying to find a deal, right? They are trying to find a deal to be done with Kevin Durant and moving him, right? And the Knicks, I don't believe the Knicks are going to be in pursuit here, right? And again, at this point, you do the deal. You do the deal. You can consider all the options if you're Phoenix and you're Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant is 36. Kevin Durant is a Hall of Fame player, but Kevin Durant is still not the guy that he once was, right? And we just get he has just turned into this vagabond. He really has. OKC, Golden State, Brooklyn, now Phoenix. I mean, that's where we're at with Kevin Durant. Now, look, his numbers were gaudy even at 35, 36 years of age. But he's just turning into a vagabond, a guy that wherever he decides to lay his hat at that moment, that is going to be his home. That is going to be his home. And for me, I don't want any part of Kevin Durant. I don't. If I'm the Knicks, I want no parts of Kevin Durant. Leave me alone. Take it somewhere else. Goodbye. I don't want to deal with it. I don't. The NBA, it is a young man's game. It is a young man's game. And guys like Durant, they still want to be relevant. And I'm not saying they cannot contribute. I'm not saying that they can help a team, but I don't believe he's that guy anymore. I just don't. I just don't. And the Suns right now, listen, man, forget about the feelings here. I mean, you're not going to get the return on your investment if you trade Durant like you think you would have a couple years ago. You're just not. And the other thing is his current contract. I mean, think about his current contract right now. Phoenix tried to move Durant during the season, right, to Golden State, and Durant pretty much shot down that deal. So Golden State decided we got to pivot. Let's go and get Jimmy Buckets. They got Jimmy Butler instead. There's only 1 year left on Durant's current deal. And that's which he originally signed back in Brooklyn. So now all of a sudden you got a potential 1 year rental if he opts not to extend for a new team. And they knew that. Look, the Suns aren't obligated to deal Durant, but if you're looking to recoup some value, the longer he stays attached with them, you're not going to get as much value back. You're just not. Because he's not that guy anymore, is my point. He's not that player. He doesn't have that type of impact. And we've seen it in the NBA. Guys get to a certain point where they're 35, 36. I mean, hell, Shaq was doing it. Shaq, I mean, you look at, forget about his prime, but you look at the back end of Shaquille O'Neal's career. I mean, he was not the player that was dominating with, Orlando, LA, even to some extent with Miami. He got old fast, and then he bounced around Miami last year, Phoenix, Cleveland. Remember, he finished with Boston. You're talking about 38 years old. The wear and tear. Your body breaks down. Durant's body is breaking down. He's not that guy anymore. He believes he is. That's fine. You should have that belief in yourself. He believes he is, but he's not. He's not. And that's the problem with a guy like Kevin Durant. You're not going to get the best value for the buck. You're not. You're not. And you're getting a lot of drama with Kevin Durant. You're getting a substantial amount of drama with Kevin Durant. The nonsense. I mean, hell, again, he's going on X. He's going on X and he's going back and forth with people on X. It's like, dude, let it go. I mean, you got, God money here, right? God money here. And he's talking about, oh, hey, I'm going to disagree with you if you think, I'm not that guy anymore. I mean, you're trying to defend your legacy. Because somebody tweeted out, you got to admit his trajectory after leaving Golden State is underwhelming. And he wrote, hey, I disagree. You want to debate? It's like, come on. He got hurt in Brooklyn, failure. Phoenix, currently a failure. I mean, come on. He's going to jump ship because that's what he does. Kevin Durant is your definition of a front runner. Kevin Durant is a front runner, and we've seen them in sports. Can't beat them, you got to join them. That's another problem with the NBA. Because these stars, when they're stars, why can't you stay in one place? Why can't you just stay? Why can't you start and end your career in one place? We just don't see it anymore. It's an aberration. It doesn't happen. Shaq, Orlando, Lakers, Miami, Phoenix, Cleveland, Boston. It's such a rarity, man. It's such a rarity. And I think that does hurt your legacy. And as far as Kevin Durant, when he's sitting there trying to defend his legacy, look, he's a Hall of Fame player. No one's disputing that. But let's be fair here. Let's be transparent and honest. Durant hasn't been that guy in a while. He hasn't been that guy. He turns around. He didn't play in 2019, 2020. He didn't play. He was injured. So what did the Nets do? We're going to take a flyer on this guy, right? We know he's coming off that injury. He plays in 35, 55 games. They don't do anything. They don't. 2022, 2023, same thing. He doesn't really give you anything. Production stats-wise, but making that deep run. He goes to Phoenix. What have they done? He played in 8 games in 2022, 2023. What have they done since? Are you going to make a move? Are you going to make a deep run into the playoffs? I mean, you're talking about a team that wins 45 games, 49 games. This year was a down year, 36 games. But you're getting bounced every single time. You're losing to Denver Nuggets. You're losing to Minnesota. You got swept. And because we're putting so much stock in you, and we're trying to get a great investment, right? A return investment here. And you're not giving me anything. You're supposed to be a guy that's going to lead a team to a championship. That's what legacy players do. And that's why I think it's ludicrous. We're not, you guys don't want to have the conversation. SGA is a superstar. When they win a championship and they're going to beat the Indiana Pacers, whether it's going to be 5 games or 6, are we then going to take a step back because some keep want to push the goalpost? And then are we going to admit that this kid's a superstar? Because it's young man's game. It's young man's game. And he wants to stay with one team, right? I mean, he got bounced around, obviously, when you think about it, where he started his career, but he wants to be a legacy player. He wants to be a franchise-altering player. Guys that I found a home right now. I mean, think about this too. This is a kid that was drafted by the Clippers, right? I think drafted by the Clippers or maybe Charlotte, and then he got traded, and now he's with OKC. So he played 73 games his rookie season with the Clippers. But he has defined his career. He's defining his legacy right now with OKC during the regular season and his MVP, and right now in the NBA Finals. Guys like Durant, your time has passed. Your time has passed. It's one of the issues with the NBA. Guys want to jump. I can't beat them, got to join them. I can't beat them, I got to join them. I can't beat them, I got to join them. After a while, it's nauseating. It's annoying. It's like, my God, man, stick with one friggin' team. Try to be the man with that team. Try to win. I had the same problem with LeBron. Same problem with LeBron. All right, we got a lot of comments coming in. We're going to open it up as well. 17 past 4 o'clock hour. Just cranking it up on a Wednesday edition of Middays with Q. Good to be back in the saddle with you guys as always. Also, as I mentioned today, I want to get into the NFL, have some thoughts on the NFL. And I feel as though every year that we start to talk about the NFL, we always have this issue, right, where we want to hang our hat on several teams that we're confident are going to show up every time. But we also know, because life in the NFL comes at you pretty fast. Some of those teams that we're thinking about, hey, let's ride them in 2025, they're going to take a step back. So we're going to talk about that as well. All right, just cranking up on a Wednesday, powered by our good friends over at TriX57, also fresh roasted coffee. Check the show notes below. BYP20, save for your first purchase. Qfecta, our 3-pack of picks, right around 450. We'll try to hang a little past 5. We got to call a couple of hoops games on the West Coast later on this evening, but plenty of time to get in on the conversation as well. Just cranking up on a Wednesday. Keep it locked in right here on a Middays with Q. As always, I'm your host, Rich Quinones. All right, 423 on this busy Wednesday edition of Middays with Q. Rich Quinones here. We'll take you up to 5-ish, a little after 5. By the way, Lloyd Vance is going to join us tomorrow. We think Angel Martinez will join us. We just don't know. He's probably just out and about, kissing babies, hugging people, doing what he does best. We call that God's work, as we like to say. Get in on the conversation. A lot of comments coming in on X and Facebook. Sarge chimes in. Q, I want to call Durant a front runner. I just think he's a vet looking to win a championship again. That is a front. That's your definition, Sarge, of a front runner. At this point, it's just unacceptable, and you're not going to get the type of return on your investment. You're not, and I just don't know why people don't understand that. It's again, you look at some of these guys, they're aging guys, they're veteran guys, right? Kevin C and Galloway chiming in. Q, excellent NBA talk. You're right. I'm not a fan of the Sears. I think it's going to be a whitewash blowout tonight. I love OKC laying the 5.5. I'm also going to go in-game live betting with it. However, to your Durant comment, would you love him on the Knicks? No, I wouldn't. And I love OKC tonight, by the way. I would not want Durant on the Knicks. I don't want Durant on the Knicks. I told you this. LeBron was doing the same thing after he was taking his talents down to South Beach. He was doing the same exact thing, right? If you can't beat these guys eventually, you're going to have to join them. And after a while, it's just, I don't know, you get soured on it. The NFL is a little different. When you win a championship, like some of these Eagles players that win Super Bowls, they realize now they can cash in and they're going to go somewhere else. I don't have a problem with that, right? Because the wear and tear, you're grinding it out 16, 17, 18, 19 game seasons. It's a volatile sport. You know, it's the way the NFL is, but the contracts in basketball, I mean, you can average 10 and 6 and you're making a max deal. It's utterly ridiculous. Now, I know you're going to combat that with well, what about the Sam Bradfords and the Kirk Cousins of the worlds over the years? I get it. I understand exactly what you're saying, but it's different in the NBA. These guys realize they can't get over the hump. They can't beat certain teams. And all you need is that 1-2 punch in the NBA. That's all you need. That's all you need. It's a totally, totally different animal. It really is. It is, folks. And I just, you can debate me all you want, but when it comes to like Durant, the longer you kind of hold on to him, the less value you're going to get, right? So you got to try to find a place where he wants to play. You got to find a team that's going to accept a far less package than what, you gave up for Durant. If he's not interested in inking a new contract, that is a major, major issue. It really is. So, you get to a point where some of these players right now, they know that they're, I guess you can say they're, the twilight of their career, right? And again, I see there's flirtation with the Knicks and all this stuff, and everyone's trying to figure out the landscape if it's taking place with the Knicks trade Karl Anthony Towns for Durant. Listen, who? I mean, do you want Towns? Right? I mean, does it make any sense? I think Karl Anthony Towns is a nice kid. I think he's a nice player, but I also think he's soft. He's frustrating to watch. He really is. He's frustrating to watch. And the Knicks, if they're going to run it back, they're going to run it back. Hell, they need to worry about a head coach first. And remember, too, the Knicks faithful should not forget this. Kevin Durant spurned the Knicks in 2019. He signed with Brooklyn. So they loved the fact he was tearing Achilles and getting hurt, and they weren't doing anything. So just kind of like I said, keep that where you're at for a couple moments. All right, 4:30. I did mention I do want to get into some NFL. Lloyd Vance tomorrow in the 5 o'clock hour. We were talking yesterday about the NFC West, and I'll still get your comments as well, and I appreciate it as always. When they come in, I will get them. But we were talking about the NFC West, and we're kind of giving our opinions, futures, win totals, the prop bets, future outlook for that division. And I posted the question of the day, what playoff team from 2024 do you guys believe is going to take that step back and miss the postseason in 2025? Now, again, this is the NFL. So if you go back 2017, you're talking about a long streak of not making the postseason. The Bills basically crashed the party, right? They made the postseason for the first time in 18 years. Now, all of a sudden, you got the MVP under center, perennial champ, division champions. Here you go. COVID, 2020, The Browns won a playoff game for the first time in like 23 years. Cincinnati won a playoff game for the first time in 31 years the following season. The Lions, a couple seasons ago, won their first playoff game in 32 years. Now, am I going to suggest that a team like, I don't know, Arizona is going to make a deep run? The Jets are going to make a deep run. Carolina is going to make a deep run. The Falcons, the Saints, the Bears. I don't know. Saints haven't made the playoffs since 2020. The Bears haven't made the playoffs since 2020. Remember Mitchell T? Carolina hasn't made the playoffs since 2017. The Jets have not made, this is crazy to think, the Jets have not made the postseason since 2010. Matty G, Jet fan chiming in Jackson, New Jersey. Q, I'm actually thinking this is the year the Jets do make the playoffs. I know it sounds crazy with Fields under center. I think the AFC East takes a little step back. I think the Patriots push the Bills a little bit. Miami's going to push the Jets a little bit, and the Jets are going to be able to at least sweep the Bills and Miami. Are you kidding me? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What, on a Wednesday? What time is it? 4:30? Is it possible you guys might have a hot toddy? The Jets are not sweeping Miami. They're not sweeping Miami. You know that, and I know that. But if you want to tell me that you think they're going to be better with Fields, all right. I mean, it's a drought. It's a drought. And I don't know what to expect with the Jets this year. I don't think they're going to be very good. I really don't. I hope Fields plays well, but I think they're going to struggle. Colts haven't made the playoffs since 2020. And obviously, if you look at Atlanta, they haven't made the postseason since 2017. And we don't need to, rehash that. I mean, they've had some droughts in their career. What do we got here? B-Dub on Facebook chiming in. Q, I really think the Colts and Carolina are going to surprise. I knew you were talking about the Colts yesterday with Lloyd Vance. If Daniel Jones is going to be the incumbent starter, I don't have a problem with that. But I think they're going to compete in a very suspect AFC South. Okay. That could be. Listen, you get to a point where you start to look at these divisions. And if you are a Jacksonville, Tennessee, well, aside from Tennessee with Cam Ward, because he's a rookie, they're rebuilding, Houston, Indianapolis, you think, okay, I got a puncher's shot. I got a puncher's chance in this division. But again, it's all about those teams that are taking a step back. Like, again, so we've got teams that we know are good that might stub their toe. And then we have teams that we're waiting to take the next level. And I think Carolina is going to surprise people. I really do. I also think that Chicago might be a little better this season. I don't suspect they're going to win 10, 11 games, but they could be a 7, 8 win type of team. I'm high on Carolina, and it's not the buzz. I just think that they're trying to build something. They're trying to build something, and it's all about, changing the culture and the dynamic. Washington was able to do it. You change the culture, you change the dynamic of the franchise. The kid Bryce Young, he's a young quarterback. He has gotten a raw deal. I think you bring in the right mix of veterans, guys that can lead, and I think he's going to surprise this year, man. I really do. I just sometimes you watch players and you watch teams and you're like, all right, these guys aren't very good. Look, he didn't play. He played 14 games last season, and they did a much better job of protecting him because it was that year 1 to year 2. Don't just look at his numbers. Even though they improved. So he completed 59% of his passes his rookie season. He jumped to 60%. So 63, 64 is probably where he wants to get this season. He threw for 2,800 yards his rookie year, only 2,400 last year, but he only played in 14 games. But he did throw 15 touchdowns, and his average pass attempt was 6.3 yards, up from 5.5. So again, gaining a little confidence. I don't need to dink and dunk and chuck let me start to go down the field a little bit. His longest, right, um, pass attempt last year, completion, was 83 yards. So we're going to have a little more confidence to sling it. But the number that stands out, he was only sacked 29 times. He was sacked 62 times his rookie season. I think they're building in Carolina. I really do. And that's one of the teams that I think can. I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy with this, but I think they can contend in that division. I really do. I think they can contend in that division with Tampa Bay. Is it going to shock me if the Carolina Panthers won the South? No, it's not. I mean, I'm going to back my play on it. I'm going to back them, no doubt. I'm going to back them because I think that they can win a division. They're plus 1,000 to win that division. That's not bad. Atlanta is plus 100, Tampa's plus 300, and the Saints are plus 340. So, in Vegas, they're telling you Tampa and New Orleans, okay, we don't believe a lot in Carolina, but hey, plus, again, Super Bowl odds for Carolina are 15,000. You bet 100, you win 15,000. That's great. You hope it happens. But for plus 1,000, yeah, I might throw some shekels on Carolina, especially their win total too. That's a team I think is going to take a step forward, not a step back, because all they can do is go up from here. Let me get to a couple of these. First Lady in Delaware chiming in. Q, I'm a Ravens fan. I'm a little nervous this year. I'm not going to say they take a step back. I'm not going to say they missed a postseason. I'm just nervous this year because I think Cincinnati's coming on. Well, look, that's a tough division. I don't really put too much stock in what's going on with Pittsburgh. You already know that. We don't even know who's going to be the quarterback under center when the season starts for Cleveland. Lloyd Vance believes it's a no-brainer. It's going to be Shedeur Sanders. I would not pencil that in just yet. I wouldn't. But I will say this. If Sanders is under center, you might want to start looking at his season player props. Just saying, you might want to start looking at his season playing props. The passing totals, the yards, touchdowns, rushing yards, interceptions, and the like. But I think the Ravens will be fine. I don't think you have any worry about the Ravens. I think they're going to be fine. Cincinnati's got to figure what what are you going to do? Are you going to break the bank and sign Hendrickson? You're going to give him that contract that he wants. This is something Lloyd Vance and I discussed yesterday on the air. And I was throwing out numbers to him. We were trying to figure out, all right, if you're going to hang your hat and you're going to break the bank, what are the numbers that we're looking at? What are the numbers that you're looking at right now? So we were kind of spitballing it a little bit and trying to figure out what kind of contract, is he going to be a $30 million a year player? And Lloyd believes so. I mean, he unequivocally said, yeah. He said they're going to have to break the bank and they're going to have to pay him. And the thing with Cincinnati is historically, they never do that. They just don't. They never, ever do that. I don't know why. We've seen it so long. They just don't do that. Let me get some of these comments. De facto leader, the Bunker Boys, Steelers and the Texans both missed this year. Vince chimes in. Buccaneers don't look great last year. And with Evans a year older, how many games does he miss? He missed like 4 or 5 last year. The other wide receiver, right? Goodwin missed significant time. And also the D is just okay. I think I think in that division, though, it's one of the reasons I like Carolina. It is. It's one of the reasons that I like Carolina. By the way, the Eagles agreed to terms with number 31 overall pick, Jahad Campbell, 4-year, $14 million, fully guaranteed deal, 5th-year option. One of 4 of 32 first-round picks are unsigned, as many can't wrap up. That's per Tom Pelissero, and I think Johnny Mack confirmed that as well. I don't think Washington's taking a step back. I don't think they're taking a step back. I think the Steelers are in trouble. I think the Steelers are definitely in trouble. I think the Rodgers experiment is going to blow up in their face. I pretty much have said it for even before they were going to sign him. I was never comfortable with that sign. I think it was a move out of desperation. And once Rodgers starts to realize, God forbid Metcalf, you have a fumble, or I should say a drop pass here and there, or maybe the receivers run the wrong route, you're going to see Aaron Rodgers do what he does best. And that's going to be very disgruntled because, he's at this stage of his career, he's a selfish guy. It's about Aaron Rodgers. He's not a team guy. He doesn't understand that team first concept. He just doesn't. He's never been that guy. And I don't know if it's because he had to wait and sit on the bench for Favre. I don't know, but he's just never been that guy. Hell of a quarterback in his prime. MVP, Hall of Famer, great thrower of the football. Not that guy anymore. Not that guy anymore. And that's why guys will debate me constantly on this. What are you going to get? You're going to get that Hall of Fame Rodgers. You're going to get the Rodgers with the Jets. I just don't see it. I don't. You have too much to trust in Daniels. McLaren is still not a camp. Racking up those fines. Commanders had way too many close wins. Yeah, but that's the sign of a good team. That's the sign of a good team. What does that mean, having close wins in the NFL? That shows me that you know how to close out games, right? And by the way, if we're being fair, think about this. So the Eagles beat the Packers by 5. They lost to the Falcons by 1. They beat New Orleans by 3. They beat Cleveland by 4. They beat Jacksonville by 5. They beat Baltimore by 5. They beat Carolina by 6. I mean, those are close games, are they not? Those are close games. By NFL standards, 7 or less, those are close games. And I know you're an Eagles fan. I'm just throwing it out there. Got to throw it out there. You have to be fair here now. I think you guys are not as high on Washington as I am, and that's still a young team with a rookie quarterback, and they were winning close games. I mean, I put up their schedule. They also lost some close games. They lost by 8 to Dallas. They lost by 8 to Philly back in November. They lost by 1 to Pittsburgh. Remember that game? They lost by 7 to Baltimore. They lost by 17 to Tampa. You're looking at the Chicago game. That was a close game. New York was a close game. Eagles second time around was a close game. Atlanta in overtime. Dallas to close it out. Okay, I give you that. But that's, now we're talking Daniels starting to work his way through that rookie campaign, little bit of a wall, and then turned it on late. I think they'll be fine, and I think they're going to push the Philadelphia Eagles. I really do. I think they're going to be, they're going to push them. You're not fair. How many times did 26 not run it and just run out the clock? But again, you guys keep pushing back the goalpost. Seriously, you keep pushing back the goalpost with this nonsense. Eagles won the Super Bowl. Who cares how they got it done? Every team during the regular season plays close games. That's the NFL. That's the NFL. It's that makes or break a season. That makes or break your season. Can you win those 3 or 4 games where it is less than a touchdown, less than a field goal? You have the ball in the fourth quarter. I don't care if Saquon knelt, a yard to go late in the game, or they milk the clock. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. But I can go through the gamut, and I can give you teams last year. A lot of teams that made the playoffs played close games. I'll give you the perfect example. Look at Kansas City. How many times did Kansas City last year you say, oh my God, this team should have lost? Baltimore start the season, Cincinnati, Atlanta, Los Angeles, New Orleans. Those were all close games. The Denver game, remember that game? Block a field goal. They lost by, 8 points, 9 points to Buffalo? They beat Carolina by 3. They beat the Raiders by 2. They beat Houston by 2. And then the game that didn't mean anything, Denver, to close it out. So every team in the NFL, you're going to get 4 or 5 games during the season that are close. It's how you close them out. That's all it is. How do you close them out? That's the mark of a good team. And Washington, whether you guys want to believe it or not, is a good team, period. They're a good team. Whether they arrive to the party late, whether they shock people, whether you're not buying into them, whether you think Daniels, you need to see it again, they are a good team and they got a lot of weapons. And I think Scary Terry, I think they're going to get a deal done. And I think one of their wide receivers, though, did get hurt today. I don't know if it was Brown. Someone got carted off. or I shouldn't say someone got carted off, but one of their receivers got hurt. And I'm trying to think who it might have been. But in any event, they've got depth and they have a very good head coach, and you got a top 10 quarterback, period. CJ chimes in, Q, I know you were killing Chris Sims the other day. You're getting pretty worked up over a list. In one breath, you're saying, who cares about the list? But in a second breath, you're actually going over the list. Yes, because again, I'm just trying to put it into perspective, right? I'm trying to put it into perspective. What difference does it make where Chris Sims has Jalen Hurts? Does it really, I mean, does it affect your life at all? It doesn't affect my life. Are you looking at Jalen Hurts and you don't believe that Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback? My argument was made to counter what Sims was saying. My argument yesterday by going over that list was to combat what he was saying. But I also, the premise was, or the caveat was, listen, who cares where my list is? It's not a big deal. It's not. But if you're going to dispute or debate Jalen Hurts' standing in the NFL, you can't tell me the guys that he had, or some of the guys that he had ranked ahead of him, are better than him because they don't have the body of work and resume. That's what I was arguing. That's what I was basically debating. That's all. I just want to be clear on that. Chris Sims can come up with any list that he wants, and you guys can, again, get all bent out of shape, right? Tommy chimes in, Q, you brought up some great points yesterday. The goal isn't to acquire a top 5 or top 10 quarterback. The goal is to win, period. It really doesn't matter where you rank Hurts. Eagles won a Super Bowl with him. You're the only person that's actually saying that. Other teams are still struggling with that part. Yeah. That's all. Again, that's it. That's all you can hope for. You can break it down and break it down and break it down. But if you're consistent, if you're out there, if you're putting up numbers, if you're leading, if you're a pro's pro, if you're winning games and you're getting to the playoffs and getting the championships and have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, if you can do any of those things, great. If you can do all those things, to me, you're a franchise quarterback and you're a top 5 quarterback. And this kid went out twice, and he outplayed Patrick Mahomes twice. So if you're going to sit there and say Mahomes is the GOAT, we're going to put Mahomes somewhere, where the hell do you put Hurts? That's all I'm saying. And I've gotten killed defending Jalen Hurts over the years. And I always wanted to see more from Jalen Hurts. And I said, go out and win a Super Bowl and you'll shut me up. It's exactly what he's done. It's exactly what he's done. He showed me he's a franchise quarterback. That's it. And that's all you need. Let me get to a couple more. What do we got here? Matty Ice in Newcastle, listening on the YouTube channel and on Facebook. Appreciate that. Q, if you're ranking the quarterbacks, then you have to totally look at their body of work, their careers up to this point, awards, stats, accolades, and how far they've made it in the postseason. With that being said, it's really only fair if you're going to go 3. How do you not go Mahomes, Hurts, and Allen? Again, it's subjective, guys. It's subjective, Matt. Now, I appreciate the comment, but it's subjective. I think Burrow is a great quarterback. I thought Burrow was the best quarterback last year in the NFL. I really did. Allen played on a different level. Allen carried them, but they still haven't been able to get over the hump. Teams like Cincinnati, they got to a Super Bowl already with Burrow. They lost it to the Rams. But Buffalo hasn't been to a Super Bowl with Josh Allen. Like, their window is closing, right? Baltimore's got to get to a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. The Justin Herberts, the Bo Nixes, their careers are relatively young, especially Bo Nix. It will take a little bit of time. Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. That squashes the argument right there. Squashes the argument. It does. And I don't really get too caught up with All-Pro, Pro Bowl in the NFL. Win an MVP, win playoff games, win championships, and you got me. To me, you're a franchise quarterback. Some of these teams that we're talking about, I mean, they're still hoping. The Bears think they have a franchise quarterback in Williams. Houston believes they have a franchise quarterback in Stroud. Miami still believes they have a franchise quarterback in Tua, and I think this is a make or break year for that franchise, the head coach and the quarterback. 100%. 100%. It's a make or break year for those two. They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. Cincinnati knows they have a franchise quarterback. They know that. Jacksonville doesn't know if they have a franchise quarterback. Denver thinks they do. The Chargers think they do. Kansas City knows they do. The Eagles have one. Washington has one. Verdict's still out on the Giants. And at this point, if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, listen, you got to start to look long term because Dak Prescott is not that guy anymore. He's not. You can go on and on and on when you're talking about the quarterback position in the NFL. That's what makes it so fascinating. It really does. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not winning in the league. You're just not. And I know it's low-bearing fruit and it's fluff to talk about and say, but if you don't have a quarterback, you're just not going to be competitive and you're going to have a lot of issues. And that's when GMs get fired and that's when head coaches get fired. All right, fast approaching 5 o'clock. Got about 10 to play with. Short edition of Middays with Q today, but we'll come back and we'll do the Q factor. All right, fast approaching 5 o'clock. Let's get to the Q factor before we get out of here. 2 out of 3 last night. We had painful. It is very frustrating when you think about it. We had the Sky plus 17 and a half. And of course, they lose 85-66. I couldn't get a couple more points and cover the nut on that one. Mets and the Yankees, no issues whatsoever. All right, what do we got here? We are going with. So these are from our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee. Use a promo code BYP20. NBA Finals Game 3, OKC minus 5.5 on the road. By the way, I love them tonight against the Pacers. Mets have been scorching, red hot. They're playing their best baseball of the season at this point. If you look again, they won in extras last night. In 11, they won 4 straight, 8 out of their last 10. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Right now, they're looking to take the second of 3 against the Nats. I do like the Mets tonight. I like the pitching matchup, but I like them, even though it's very heavy, minus 270 on a money line. I'll take that. And then the Yankees minus 130 over the Royals. You saw exactly what the Yankees. And again, if you're going to go prop, I would go a Judge anytime home run. I mean, he is absolutely just destroying the baseball. His numbers are, what did you say the other day? Minus 50. Minus Aaron Judge for MVP in the AL. Crazy. I mean, he's just smacking the ball all over the place. And the Yankees starting to figure it out a little bit. Now, we talked a little bit about their starting rotation, their pitching the other day. I thought it was going to be a question mark. Great segment if you didn't catch it with Steve Gardner from USA Today. Got a lot of feedback on the Pete Rose discussion. I'll snip it and put it on social because I flat out asked Steve Gardner if the MLB baseball writers were allowed to vote for Pete Rose as a voter, would you? His answer is pretty surprising, so definitely check that out on the YouTube channel. But I like the Yankees. I think right now, again, you got to beat up on the bad teams, right? You have to beat up on the bad teams. You got to take care of business. Now, eventually, after this series, you get Boston for 3, and you can do a little damage against the Boston Red Sox, kind of give them that early gut punch as we're in the middle of June. Toronto and the Rays right now are the teams that are chasing the Yanks, 4 and 5 games back respectively. But the Yankees, even though they're 5 and 5 in their last 10, they can go on a tear. They can go on a run. We know that. And this is a team that can start to put up some runs. I mean, look, those last 2 games against the Red Sox, 7 and 7 runs. They put up 10 last night against bad pitching. I mean, Judge's home run was 469 feet. He absolutely crushed the ball. Absolutely crushed the ball last night. He's so locked in right now. So those are my three, and again, we will put them on our on social, so you guys can check it out, and we will see how we do. Right, we'll see exactly how we do with those picks. We are following them. We are following them, and we are following them, and that's all we can ask for. Because again, we are looking at long term. What do we got here? Mobox, Q, did you see your girl, Lynn Sandstrom, number one contender right now, WBA? Yes, my girl, Linny Sandstrom. Yes. I'm going to try to get her on the show. She's out, she's in Australia. So, like, it's very quirky when we try to do these interviews, but she's a fascinating interview. I know she just had that fight back in April, but she's a good interview. She's very charismatic. And I also saw that my other good friend, Salim Marbina, retired as well. And that's another great female fighter. I mean, wishing her the best of luck. I mean, she was an absolute warrior. So we'll try to get her on as well, because you guys know I love to talk the boxing and the combat sports. So we got some good fights coming up that I definitely want to dissect. I wanted to, maybe I'll do it tomorrow, Friday, get into what transpired in Virginia over the weekend with the Albright and Davis fiasco. I'll kind of save my thoughts for that. I don't want to start the segment and then we have to go off the air. So that's going to be the Qfecta on this Wednesday. Short show, as I mentioned, we got to call some hoops games on the West Coast in about an hour or two. So tomorrow we'll have the TriX 57 Sports Flash in the morning. Don't forget to follow TriX 57 on social media at TriX 57, Facebook, IG, and the YouTube channel. You can follow me as always on IG and on X at Rich Q on Q. And I know we are streaming as well on the YouTube channel live, and also our good friends over at SR 1029 FM The Game. Lloyd Van's going to join us. We believe that our guy, Adrian Martinez, is going to join us. Robbie D in ACQ, what's your prediction for the game? I missed the first portion of the show. Do you like the Thunder to cover? I think the Thunder are going to win by at least 15 tonight, and the line's 5.5. Yes, I do think. I think this is a game where they start to assert themselves and say enough is enough. It was a slip up in game one. Halliburton with the big shot. Here we go, but enough is enough. And now you start to get the gentleman's sweep. Yeah, absolutely. I don't have any WNBA plays for you guys, so I apologize for that. All right, so as I mentioned, don't forget, lock is in tomorrow. Busy Thursday. Lloyd and I are going to continue with the NFL talk. Couple minutes before we get out of here, and I know you guys are chiming in some comments from the other day I want to get into. Steve chimed in. Q, I did catch the interview that you were talking baseball with Steve Gardner from USA Today. I was actually pleasantly surprised to hear his take on Pete Rose. I'm a little concerned with you, how you did a pivot from your days on 1290 The Ticket. Well, you're talking, wow. I mean, that was 2007 to 10 that I was on the ticket, right? Maybe 7 to 11 in Delaware. That was Clear Channel back then. It's iHeart, and that station now is the Cricket. But yeah, I was so adamant that Pete Rose should never ever be elected into the Hall of Fame, because again, he broke the one cardinal rule. He bet on baseball. He bet on games. Everything else is smoke and mirrors. Whether he did it, manager of the Reds when he was playing, whatever. He bet on games, and that's the cardinal rule, right? But as I got older, and I really followed it, because that was right around the time the Mitchell report broke, and we saw all the players that were, quote, under that cloud of suspicion. So part of me was like, come on, man, these guys are eventually going to get in. Now, something interesting Steve said is, he said yesterday, and again, I encourage you guys to check out the interview on my YouTube channel at Rich Quinones. He said, don't think for 1 minute the steroid era guys are going to get in. Don't think if one door opens up, all of them are getting in. That's not going to be that's not going to be the instance. That's not going to be the situation. So I thought that was very telling, right? And again, his call to the Hall, Pete Rose, it's not a gimme. It's not, because it's not the current baseball writers that will select. That's the problem. And the other thing that I think goes, people don't want to talk about. Look, he's eligible for consideration by Baseball Hall of Fame's Classic Baseball Era Committee, which back in the day was the Veterans Committee. There was pressure. There was political pressure from the POTUS. There was political pressure from Trump coming down, right, to lift that ban. I mean, and Manfred did. He took off that ban MLB's permanently ineligible list, and now it paved the way for the eligibility. The argument is you should have done it when the man was alive and not passed. Okay, fine. So you talk about the voting requirements. They're going to vote on Pete Rose December 2027. He's going to need 12 of 16 votes to be inducted into the Hall of Fame class of 2028. Steve believes he's not going to get it. Steve believes he's not going to get in. As I said, it's an interesting conversation that we can have a little more at length, because I do have a lot of baseball fans and older baseball fans that routinely will chime in, especially when I was on the radio. So it's always a interesting topic of conversation. We'll talk a little more about it tomorrow and Friday. All right, as I mentioned, we got to call the hoops on the West Coast. Appreciate you guys chiming in. I promise we'll get to more of your comments tomorrow on X as well as Facebook, and of course the YouTube channel. Appreciate my good friends over at SR 1029 FM, The Game, Southwest Florida's newest game in town, for actually hooking us up on their X account as well. My man Angel Martinez. Angel Hernandez was an umpire. My man Angel Martinez. He should be joining me tomorrow. He should be. Oh wait, does he want to come on now? I see. Hold on. Can we do this right now before I get off the air? You're not the referee, Angel Hernandez. We know it's Angel Martinez. Oh, he's giving me the one finger. So he's in studio as we speak before we go off the air. This might be like, what do we call this? This is is it a cameo? Do I have to pay? Do I have to pay you for this spot? I mean, I'll wait as long as you want me to. That's fine. I don't have a problem. Take your time, buddy. Take your time. I got a couple more minutes to play with. You can just fiddle around. You can dick around, do whatever you're doing, trying to get your headset on. I don't know why I said Angel Hernandez. I keep thinking of the Scarface character, and that was Chichi. That was Angel Hernandez. Or was it Angel Fernandez? I'm actually being corrected right now. Sally Boy says it was actually Angel Fernandez in Scarface. You just give me a thumbs up when you want to pop on. No, he's still telling me to wait. Unbelievable. This friggin' nothing has changed with this guy. No, oh, there he is. Add the scene. Speaker connected. Am I going to add you? I'll just let you do it. You got total control. I got people chiming in right now. They want to know. Is this possible? Is this happening? Are you going to join me for a segment? While you're doing that, I'll get to a couple more comments. What do we got here? Tom in Summers Point chime in. Oh, look at this. Now he decides. Tom in Summers Point chime in, by the way. Q, thank you for finally giving credit to Jalen Hurts. Haha, the Giants still suck. Washington is going to take a step back. How about this? The transition right now on the big screen. The incredible shrinking Hermano. What's going on? You got to put your audio on. I can't hear you. Yeah, geez, man, this is just it's ruining a classic moment. And I can't hear you. That means you're going to have to come out and you're going to have to come back in. This is just brutal. You're on my screen right now. You're giving me the finger on live radio, live broadcast. This is absolutely this is ridiculous. This is just a debacle in the making. And already I can see the comments coming in. This is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. My goodness. Now I'm the host. Now I'm back. Now Angel's going to pop in. We will wait for Angel to pop on. I promise you guys, we will wait for Angel to pop on for a couple moments. Let me get to a couple more of these. Hold on a second. Transition yourself. Let's go.
Yes.
Horrible. Now, it's funny because I'm looking at myself and now I see the live and there you are.
Yeah. It's like Verizon. You have to do the air check. Can you hear me now?
I can. The incredible shrinking Hermano, kind enough to join the show. I don't know why. I keep thinking of the umpire, Angel Hernandez.
I know. That's why I gave you the quick flash. Like, wait. I think I'm a little bit better than Mr. Hernandez.
He's got some bad eyes, right? But yeah, well, listen, you've been a little blinded to some things, but that's okay. What's going on, brother?
Not much. Working as usual, but I wanted to stop by because I was walking. It's funny because we're in the same building, and so when I
Right.
was walking down the hall, they told me, "Hey, Rich is on live right now. If you want to stop in there," I'm like, "Why not?" So I figured I'd jump in the same studio there. Although you're over on Studio B, this is Studio A over here. It's
Gotcha.
then we have the other people on the other side of the building there. But nonetheless, it's been a minute. It's been a while, and obviously we know there's game 3 tonight in the NBA. So we'll see how that one's going to play out. You have game 3 as well coming up for the NHL.
No,
Game 3 or 4?
it's a
Game
2
4.
1 series lead, Florida. Game 4. Game 4.
Game
What are you
4.
doing?
Yep.
Paying attention? I mean, you're down to friggin' Florida.
Hey, listen, I got 50 million things going on. What else can I tell you? That's why.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
plus,
hold on. Do you not host content? You don't have your own network? What are we doing here?
of course I do. But unfortunately, I got other stuff that goes on as well. That and I'm trying to pay attention to. I'm the only. You hear me say this all the time.
Yeah.
I'm the only Bucks fan that will report Buck stuff. And Hassan Reddick was in house today over there at One Buck Place, and he's talking about it. He wants to extend his contract at the end of the season, depending how everything works out. We've heard that before with Hassan with the Eagles. Will it happen? I don't know. We'll see. But as always, it's always a guessing game around here. The Lightning exited out earlier, so there's nothing really to report there. But on the flip side, we have the Women's Super League, and the Tampa Bay Sun will be hosting their first championship game in the Super League in Tampa. So that should be fun by the end of the week.
Yeah, I mean, is this a Tampa minute? Is that what I'm getting right now? I mean,
Yeah.
you haven't been on in a couple months, and all of a sudden you just come on right away. And what do? It's like we don't miss a beat. You just decide I'm going to take over the friggin' show, and we're going to give you a Tampa. Hold on, let's get back to Reddick.
Yeah.
So, did he explain why he missed OTAs? He wants a new deal, obviously.
Yeah. He's using the Stefan Diggs route where he says he already spoke to who he already had to speak to. He doesn't need to speak to it because it will be phrased different ways from Sunday. So therefore, the answer you're going to get is I dealt with it internally. Everybody's happy.
Hold on a second. Do we get blessed?
But yes, there was a a bless in the background.
Wait. So this morning, right? I'm trying to cut the sports flashes for Triax, right?
Mhm.
I got to do them every day. And what happens is when I go to fire them off, once you're live, like I make a bad habit of, I'm like, all right, if this is bad, I got to delete it real quick, which I know you're never supposed to do, right? So I'm getting locked in. I script it up. I got my banners already. And as soon as I say, welcome sports fans, I'm Rich Quinones, all of a sudden I hear like Kiki just trying to push out a fur ball. I mean, when I say pushing it out, I thought I had to go over there and do like CPR, like just start to do like little mini puppy compressions. I had to end broadcast right away. I had to go on all social, delete. It's like, no, but listen, I think that's going to be interesting with Reddick this year. It's going to be interesting with Tampa Bay. I think, to be quite honest with you, I mentioned that I think Carolina is going to have a hand in that division. So I talked a little bit about this yesterday. I don't know if you tuned in. We were talking about Chris Sims's list, his quarterback list, because now everything's about list and this and that, and he still, I feel as though, is not giving Jalen Hurts any type of love. Hold on a second. Problem is me getting stuck in a meeting till 4:50. Then I get a wow. This is one long C team session. Got Angel. Holy crap. 6 months is a long time. Hey Angel, why did you offer to become a stripper so she can have someone to call daddy? That's mad, man. I don't know why. And by the way, I'm not sure why the comments are not coming across.
I will explain to you off air.
Off air?
Yeah.
Is it pilot error again?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot coming in and I wanted to read them. You know how these guys get, especially the bunker boys, because they thought maybe, over the last year, you just decide to not, pull up their comments.
No, that's not true. Not true.
I'm just.
If anybody
there has been talk.
Oh boy.
There has been talk that, you took the producer role
Oh no.
You were just too serious as a producer, and you were policing comments too much. And some felt that we were not being fair and balanced. That's all I'm going to say. That was the report. The report was we were not. Again, here you go. I better not be FCC 10-second filtered. De facto leader of the Bunker Boys. The loyal listeners want transparency, Q. No off-air convos. Yes, I agree. There's no off-air convos. This is it. It's
Yeah,
it's full transparency. That's it.
that's exactly what it is. By the way, I don't listen. I don't filter anyone unless something is too derogatory or inflammatory. Then I can't let it go because what
Yeah.
ends up happening is then we get
And
attacked.
listen, like anyone else in the business, when you work with someone,
Mhm.
after a while, they become like pains in the asses, and that's where Angel and I were. You
That's
know,
right.
we were just it was a very combative relationship. It was just very one sided. So it's like
Jeez Louise.
again, so you guys want full transparency. This is all you need to know. This is all you need to know. Angel decides, hey, I'm going to do a solid and I'm going to join Q because that's what guys do. That's what stand up guys do. It doesn't matter what was said in the past. It doesn't matter if we cursed at each other. That's what we do. We were calling names and this and that and the other thing. The bottom line is we got fresh roasted coffee. The sun is out in Tampa. He's given us USF updates. Who doesn't want that? And there we go. We got the incredible drink here. Come on. By the way, are you cashing those checks yet for fresh roasted coffee?
I sure am. 56 cents, 78 cents, buck 32. It's working out terrifically as I have now my fresh roasted coffee in my mug as it is right now. But no, listen, it's
Hold on. Man says many of my jokes mysteriously didn't go through comments last year. Q needs to be more like Howard Stern. Forget the FCC and go WNBC.
not true because I would put his comments up there. He knows. I even said in a one of your shows last week.
But but who? All right. Let's be fair.
Okay.
Do you have an agenda against the Bunker Boys?
Okay.
And I think that's kind of because there's a bunch of Bunker Boys and they travel in packs. They're like wolves. They're not the wolf pack, but they travel in packs. And I think what happened or was happening, they felt that. I mean, look, and I'll say it: if their comments that they were bringing shit to the table, we're only going to read them off the air. I mean, we need substance on the air. I
Correct.
need some juice. I need some good comments on the air. But maybe you felt that they were just not up to snuff, and maybe that's where the creative differences.
No, hold on for a second. Isn't the Bunker Boys in relation? Are they Steelers fans, Redskins fans, or Carolina fans? I'm still trying to figure that one out.
You can't say Redskins anymore. Commanders.
Whatever.
You can't. The Bunker Boys are Eagles fans. They're unapologetic. They're rats. They're Eagles fans.
All right. Then who's the one that was making comments last week on your show where they flip flopped?
Oh, that's Vince. He was a Steelers fan. Now he's a Duval fan.
That's who it was. Okay. All right. All right.
It's
Listen,
kind
I want to get everybody straight now, but they're Bunker.
Hold on. My de facto leader, the Bunker Boys. My comments are only value add.
Is that
You meant he only adds value, but go ahead.
that's what he's saying right now?
Yeah, I saw the comment. It popped up.
Okay.
I got a bunch. I gotta read a couple of these. Hold on a second.
Hold on. Wait. That's right. Because if the Bunker Boys are Eagles fans, that's not this guy filtering that stuff. And it might have been Mr. Giant.
No. Bobby D chimes in. Angel's got a lot of effing nerve showing his little incredible shrinking head in your screen shoot.
And some things don't change.
Oh my God. Hold on a second. Hold on. I got a couple more. These are not popping up on YouTube. These are on my X and on Facebook. This is a good one. O chimes in. Is that Angel? Holy shit. I was having breakfast the other day and I was looking at my milk carton and it said missing. I mean, listen. Let me get one more. Sarge chimes back in. Oh, there we go. Our Tampa, Florida Sports Minute. How I've missed this. Oh, wait. Big Mike chimes in. Wait, no NASCAR minute.
No, that's none at the moment.
By the way, this is not to make light. This is not to make light of anything, but you know how like we were excited because you were doing the stuff with what was it? The
City
motorsport?
Garage Motorsports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, was it a kiss of death that the decal was on the car and the same day it was on the car wreck?
No, thankfully that wasn't the case.
Oh man, you don't know how many people were hitting me up saying that is horrible.
No, that wasn't the case. Unfortunately, there was to put it in the most polite terms,
Oh
a
man.
driver that should have not have been there.
No, no, no.
But yeah, no, it wasn't a kiss of death because the logo was on the car. Not at all.
Let me see. Hold on. Oh my God, Angel, just like Kenny Pickett, George Pickett's no more Redskins. Wait, man says, does this mean we have to start calling Gabriella's?
Jesus, guys, don't forget anything.
Or listen to Mass Murderer voiceover coverage?
No, you won't hear that. Listen, the Pickett thing again. I'll bring back the
Oh
tape
my
one day.
God, that is too funny. That is too funny.
I'll bring back the tape one day. It wasn't me that said it. It was a network that said it. I just repeated exactly what they said.
We were stuck just playing PSAs. Oh my God.
You know,
That is too funny.
one that I need to find from the archives is the Martha Stewart one, and I'm pretty sure everybody will get a cook. They'll get a kick out of that one.
Big David, what we did wants to know, QS Angel,
Oh,
if
boy.
he still keeps his turd signal.
Yes.
What happened the other day? I called you, and I'm like, dude, turn your fucking turd signal.
Hey, sitting at the stoplight. What else am I supposed to do? So, we were talking about something about the studio, and then you told me to turn the signal off as I'm ready to make my turn. But
De facto wants to know, when is the merch launch? I should be repping Q down in the DMV. I mean, what's going on with the merch store? Do I have to pull merchandise back?
no, so the company that I was supposed to have launched it with, they were supposed to have merged with another company. Now, in the process, when they were doing this, everything that everybody had put basically to sign up their logos and everything else, everything was ready to go. And then apparently someone went in there and cleaned out every single server. So everybody's decals, details, anything. And we're talking about millions of folks, not just us. It was millions of folks, and they lost it all. And I didn't have the time, in all honesty, to go back and
I gotta get my guy from Played Against Sports.
Well, yeah, I can end up doing it that way. But
who, by the way, is a fantastic handicapper and poker player. And I would suspect he would probably woodshed a lot of our listeners who claim to be poker players. He's from Delco.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, I cannot reveal any more information because he goes incognito.
Oh, so he goes as in Played Against Sports too?
No, I'm just saying, like, he's the, when you're like, hey, this guy owns or operates a store, right? Yeah. But, conflict of interest, we can't give the name on the air. That would be no. That's airing dirty laundry, and that's not what we do. That's what the listeners want us to do. That's the problem. Then you get that divide.
That's true.
And we can see, it's just the same, the ball breakers of the listening audience. They obviously have not forgot many things. I mean, the turn signal is just absolutely priceless. And Gabriella's mom is absolutely. We need to do a Wednesday spot if it works within your schedule. Look, I can actually, as we speak, I can even do this. Joining me is Angel.
Jeez. Throw it up there.
Oh my goodness, that's too funny. That was that was so bad the other day when I was trying to do the interview with Steve, and like our head shrunk, and I had to like move around, and like I cut off all the bannering. I'm like, this is not going to work. This is bad. This is not good stuff. Oh, here you go. Next thing you know, hold on a second. Next thing you know, Angel will bring up the furries from the 90s strip club.
That was you. That wasn't me.
No, I don't even know what that means.
That was that Madman who just said it?
No, I don't know what a furry is.
No, because we were talking about it was Joey B brought up something about we were talking about something or another, and I think I may have talked about like Odyssey 2000, whatever it is down there in Tampa, and then Joey B brought up the squiggles.
Hold on, I got to Google Odyssey 2000.
Yeah,
Angel, what? I mean, hold on a second here. Don't let Studio A Odyssey two. Is it 2001 Odyssey Tampa?
yeah, it might be that one, 2001.
Hold on, let's check out the reviews. Hold on. Wow. I mean, I don't even want to read.
It's bad.
Anytime there's a girl with curves, they barely get any stage time. I'm not reading.
No, some of them are bad.
I refuse to read. De facto leader of the Bunker Boys. You know exactly what a furry is. I don't. What is that? Is that I remember from Entourage. The furry. What do people dress up and they dance or what?
No, that's the other things. What's the like the cosplay or whatever it is? That's called
Like superheroes.
Yeah, sure, that one. But the
Yeah.
you got to think of the lower south.
I got you. I got you. I got you. Oh, you mean lower south like Jacksonville?
No,
Or like body part region?
yeah,
Oh. Ooh.
yeah, that's what you got to think of.
Wow.
And
I
then
thought
that went back to a whole thing. Somebody else must have made a comment, but that's where it goes back to. It started with Joey B, and then it kind of kept rolling from there. At least that's what I can recall. What
I can't
happened?
with these comments. I can't. This is why we have to police stuff. I thought the bad guy from Walking Tall took Angel hostage, demanding a ransom for a sports betting app. That's when remember we had the betting app guy on? He was good. I don't know why I even thought he looked like the dude from Walking Tall. He wasn't a villain.
He wasn't. He was good. He was really good.
My God, these guys got memories like friggin' elephants.
They do. They went back and looked in the archives real quick. Let me go back, see if it's still there.
That interview?
It's still there. All of them are still there up there on the YouTube channel.
No, absolutely. Jose from Camden chimes in.
Oh no.
Hold on. Angel, shouldn't you be out protesting?
Doing what?
He wants to know, shouldn't you be out protesting? I don't even know why. This is why we have to screen half these commenters.
No, I don't have to worry about that stuff. I was
Oh
born and
my
raised here, so
God.
I don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
You guys are just so all right. I know we got to start wrapping it. I just can't. We're gonna have to do like a Wednesday. Like we'll work within your schedule because I'll be 4 to 6. We'll work within your schedule, and that's fine. First Lady in Delaware chimes in. Q, I think that's a crock of shit with the merch store. We want merch. We want merch. Listen, you'll get the merch.
You'll get it.
You'll get but it's not free. We don't make concessions here.
Yeah. It's just it's like the old saying, you got to pay to play. That's the way it is. So it'll be up. And unfortunately, I had to reach out to a new company. Listen, there's a lot of stuff that's time consuming, and that was very time consuming because everything had to be lined up perfectly. And unfortunately, if they didn't clean out the servers and the companies would have merged the way they should have, it'd have been a whole different story. But it is what it is. And now I have to go back and resize, reshape. I get so much crap that I have to do just to make it right. So when you guys purchase it, then we don't get the comments of, why did I buy this garbage? Because I don't sell garbage. That's just the way I am.
Trey in Point Pleasant chimes in on X, quote, pay to play. Angel, pay to play.
Okay, now I got to watch what I say too.
But you do realize, the Stanley Cup Finals, one team is in Florida. You do.
Yes, that would be the Panthers.
I wanted to make sure if you were just aware of what was going on in your backyard in the sports world. That's it.
Yeah, listen, Brad Marchand came down from Boston and has made a big difference maker here with the Panthers. Obviously, 2 games within the series that he's been able to win it for them. So, to me, everybody thinks that still Edmonton's going to take it. There's no way, and they think the bounce back game, which that's what everybody's hoping for tomorrow night. I think
No, that
the
series is done. Florida's winning the series.
Panthers are going to smoke that. I already told Pete earlier, or no, yesterday. I said it was going to be 7-2. That Panthers game coming up on Thursday. There's no way if you allowed the Panthers to get under your skin that bad,
Sure.
you were a player short from forfeiting that game because there would have been nobody left to change lines. That's how bad it got. And that's just how dumb it shows that you got to be grown men and do better and learn that this is a game. You want to get under the Panther skin, you should have been, other than trying to check them up on the boards and then hit them lower, on the Cavs. You got to learn how to transition better. You have to learn how to change your lineup better. And they were doing that all the way up through the series until they met the Panthers. And let's not forget what happened last year for the Panthers to win their first one. So they turned around, dusted off the book from last year and said, here's what we need to do better. And that's exactly what he did for game 3. So listen, Oilers got nobody to blame but themselves.
D in New York Times in Q. It's great to see Angel. It only took you 30 seconds to cut him off. I mean, it's you don't miss a beat. Man says, "Thank God Angel is safe."
Hey, I missed the jokes from Man. He had almost daily, but guaranteed one on Fridays.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, we got the we had to add to the Man Up Monday, as you know, we had to add not only the Manolo Lunas, but then we had to throw in Mendioso Man Up Monday. So now all of a sudden we're manning up, we're paying homage to God. It's a Monday, and we're a bunch of liars. So that's where Tuesday is just a bland Tuesday. Wednesday we try to get over the hump. But what the frig Friday? It's been steady Eddie, and that's all we're looking for. So all right, so we're gonna have to schedule something out here and make it. No checks are in the mail. They're just going to bounce. So this is just basically you just, giving up your time during the week. But always good to have you back in the saddle, my friend. Got a lot of comments still coming in. So yeah, we'll work something out. Maybe we tried like multiple times during the week. And then I know Angel and I were looking to get some more content on hold on. What am I got here? Man says, I thought ICE and Trump got a hold of Angel's home address. Thank God Angel is safe. Leave it to the madman. Leave it to the man. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, let me ask you a question. When there's knocks on the door, do you just kind of like, you just kind of like, you beat the block?
No, but you can do the way I did a couple of days ago at Walmart when I won't say the Irish nationality, but I picked up a bag of ice and looked at him and said, too soon? And the guy was like, what are you going to do? Run?
I mean, what are we doing here?
When it's your own people, that's what you can end up doing.
What's wrong with you? Oh my God, Coño, get him out today. That is hard. And there you have it. Welcome back. Bienvenido, the incredible Shrinking Hermano. All right, I got to start wrapping up. We'll close out with you. Don't forget tomorrow, 4 to 6, Lloyd Vance. We're going to see if we can get Costco again on Friday, and then we'll do a lot more NFL tomorrow. We'll figure out something for Angel. I appreciate you jumping on board for a couple moments though, brother.
Not a problem. As always, never a problem.
All right, so there you have it for me, Hermano, the incredible Shrinking Hermano, Angel Martinez. I'm Rich Quinones. Have a good sports Wednesday. We got some hoops to call. We'll be back in the saddle tomorrow, 4 to 6. As always, be safe, be sound. Follow us on social media and our good friends at SR1029 FM The Game. Follow them on our social media platforms. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, hasta luego, buen día.